Hey, welcome to another fantastic, mind-blowing video of Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we will be covering Star Wars Squadrons on the PlayStation 4, played on the PlayStation 4 Pro. I don't know what the graphical updates are, or upgrades from the base PlayStation, because I downgraded it to 1080p. I will say I've been playing this game in HDR, so when I had to turn it off in order to record, I felt like, just like in The Last of Us, when I was reviewing that footage or whatever, I do feel like this game loses a lot of its vibrant colors. The colors seem kind of washed out. I don't know if that's that I need to adjust brightness settings, or usually like when you switch from if you turn HDR off, like the game will default to like SDR, like normal color settings. You don't really have to adjust anything, because when you have it on HDR, you're adjusting the HDR, and the colors seem kind of normal like during the scene. So I don't know, it looks good enough. This is the first time I'm playing practice mode, so I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Everything's kind of locked as you play online, or I believe even in practice mode, you earn like the little crates. You don't pay for them. There's no micro transactions, but that's how you upgrade your ship. I haven't spent any of my points, or those little crate things that you earn when you win matches, on any upgrades. So my ship's fairly weak on practice mode. Maybe there's a way, like I didn't even know that you had to turn enemies on. This is literally the first time I played it, because I didn't want to spoil the story and show you any of the story elements. I just kind of wanted to show you how the game played. So I didn't know that you actually had to turn enemies on or capital ships on. One thing I will say is that this game is extraordinarily difficult when you don't actually have a squadron and yet you're trying to fight one. I'm also not, I mean, it would be accurate for the movies, but I don't know, like, it feels like I guess, I want to say the Rebel Alliance, but in this game, since it takes place after Return of the Jedi, it's the New Republic. So, like the X-Wings and the Y-Wings and the, you already saw the ships, and I'm trying to think of what they are, the A-Wings, and then you have the U-Wings, which is from Rogue One. I feel like they're a little bit more powerful, because they actually have shields, where the you have the TIE Fighter, the standard one, you have the TIE Interceptor, you have the TIE Bomber, which is a little bit tougher, and I forgot what the U-Wing equivalent of the TIE Fighter is, and that was also in Rogue One. But I really like the U-Wing. I actually got the Lego set of the U-Wing, and I really like its look. It's iconic, and I love how they're incorporating it in new Star Wars games and stuff like that. This is a mixture between, this is a compromise between, I guess, the X-Wing series and the Battlefront series. So it's not completely in sim territory, and it's kind of arcadey, but there's more things to manage. One of those things you might notice on your bottom, like, how would I explain this? If you were looking like I'm trying to describe three things at once. Bear with me. If you look at the little computer, the little LED dots to the left, I'm colorblind, so if I'm wrong, the LED dots that are the highest, that is all the power going to the engines. The middle red one is firepower, and the one that's either yellow or green, I don't know which one, that's actually your shields, and you actually can choose whether the place your shields to the front or back. And if you look at the little squares above, you see the numbers going up and down. That's how many boosts that you have. And then the little slider bar here is like your throttle, which, unlike a racing game, you don't hold it. Habitually it's easy like to hold it up. It's actually kind of best to put it in the middle. This game is actually awesome with headphones, because when you adjust the throttle, it'll actually make a little beeping indicator that is extraordinarily helpful, so you don't have to keep on looking down. Obviously, you can see the whatever you're targeting, and you can push X to switch through targetings. If you actually hold L2, you actually can target various things, including like objectives, ships specifically, your wingmates. If you're going against a capital ship, you actually can select flagship systems, like if you want just to go against the turrets and stuff like that, you can pick that. Voice chat is extremely helpful. It seems like almost no one uses it, including me. So, that's not really a big deal. You also can hold, and I'm basing this all on PlayStation. By the way, this whole game can be completely played in VR, which I have not had the luxury yet to experience. I wish I could, because I'm sure it's awesome. If you double tap the right analog stick, you actually can do a free look. But if you're in VR and you move your head, it does all that shit automatically. And I heard you actually can see more than you can with the free look. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what I heard. Obviously, if you're used to playing any kind of flight game, including like a jet fighter game like Ace Combat, when it zeroes in, you can launch a missile. You also have, I guess you would call them flares. I'm not sure what they would be called in the Star Wars universe offhand. But if you get locked on, you can do like some crazy maneuvering and feel super proud about yourself, or you could shoot flares, and that'll usually like evade the missile. So you also can push triangle really fast, like if you're locked onto somebody, and the way you lock on to anything without like cycling through the stuff through your radar, you actually can like look at the object and then you push the L2 button. Again, I'm referencing the PlayStation 4 controller, but it's also different depending on like whether you like the button configuration. It kind of gets difficult sometimes to get used to for some people, but I don't know. I'm used to playing Battlefront, and it's pretty close to the way Battlefront controls. The difference between Battlefront is you don't have to like divert your power and stuff like that. One thing I do miss a lot is the third person mode. I really love the detail of the ships, and the detail of the ships are there because if you'll see later in the game, like, playing practice sucks if you don't have a squadron. I'm just gonna say it up front, like, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't know if there's a way to get like a squadron to fight with you. But anyway, if you lightly hit triangle when you have something locked on, it'll actually tell your tell your squad mates to focus on that thing, which is extraordinarily helpful. And you can also do that online, and they can do the same thing. That's awesome if you don't want to use the speaker to like talk to your teammates, like if you're playing online and you want to get them to zero in on the same target you are, because ultimately in order to succeed at this game you have to work together as a team. I was really excited when this game was announced. It kind of came out of nowhere. I remember when Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 came out, even though I'm sure EA never read any of my messages like on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, and I even like filled out all the surveys when they're like, what do you think about our game? I would always be like, please add more maps to Starfighter. I would love a Starfighter exclusive game. And then one day I like woke up and like Star Wars Squadrons was announced, and that was awesome because the Starfighter modes and Battlefront were my favorite modes. It makes me really sad that despite Battlefront 2 like redeeming itself to many people who are against it, I guess I'm a sucker for Star Wars because I absolutely adored the game, even when it was fairly microtransaction heavy, because I felt like I was earning everything that I needed, but other people felt differently and felt like they had to play the game for a long time. But my favorite mode was Starfighter Assault, and it makes me sad, like, when the game was getting all these updates, like Starfighter Assault was like the one mode that didn't work, and the first Battlefront got like a lot of Starfighter Assault like modes and stuff like that added with each expansion, but that was not the case with Battlefront 2, which kind of makes me sad because I thought that the dog fighting and stuff, I believe Criterion, who worked on the Burnout series, worked on I'm gonna say like every 15 minutes. I'm just warning you. Like, I felt like it was just so much better, and it was just, it just controlled better, you could maneuver better and all this stuff, and it was a mode that wasn't supported, and it would have been awesome if, like, in the first game you could play like the Death Star trench run, which it was kind of like a hybrid of the Death Star 1 and Death Star 2 trench run, and there's all these cool levels that never made it to Battlefront 2. So when they announced this, I was stoked, but apparently this game isn't, even though it was released like 1/3 cheaper, it was like, it costs about 2/3 as much as a regular game, so it was not only like a discount title, but it didn't have any microtransactions or anything. But they said they, for right now at least, they don't have any future DLC planned for the game, which makes me extraordinarily sad because I really like this game. This game does have a single player campaign. Some people claim it's super short. I feel like it's slightly longer than a Call of Duty game, which is fine with me as long as it's fun. And there's some great moments, especially towards the end of the game. There's really cool moments that feel very Star Wars. I don't want to spoil it for you, hence why I picked practice mode first. I'll also show an online mode a little bit later. I kind of chose this because I wanted to show you what the New Republic ships / the Rebel Alliance ships, if that's what you remember it as. This, since Disney's redoing the canon and stuff like that, I didn't really get much into the expanded universe, so it's kind of interesting to see like how the canon universe is versus like the I guess they call it Legends now, and before it was the expanded universe. But if I remember correctly, when I would get the expanded universe books, there's always like a little disclaimer even before Disney bought out Star Wars. It's like, this is subject to change, because they didn't want, like, what if they were making a new Star Wars movie, Lucasfilm, before Disney owned it, wanted to make new Star Wars content. They didn't want to be held hostage by like the books or whatever, or like, even though it always says special thanks to George Lucas, there's so much Star Wars shit coming out, there's no way he could have overlooked everything. So like, when I go online sometimes and I'm just interested about the Star Wars expanded universe, like some of the shit, like, you might hate the Disney movies, but some of that expanded universe shit is as or more batshit crazy, and I don't mind, because to me Star Wars is kind of silly. It's like a space fairy tale. If you want to get in the more technical stuff, I guess you would go more in Star Trek in that route. Like, Star Wars it's like the space version of Indiana Jones. It's based on serials and stuff like that, and westerns. It's like a potpourri of different things, and it's cool, and I like the universe, and I like the spaceships and everything. As much as, I'm probably gonna get shit for this, as much as we want to feel like Star Wars is a deep storyline, George Lucas himself said he pretty much geared his film towards 12-year-olds, and that's fine, because that's about what my mental capacity is. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of cool to see what happens after Return of the Jedi that's considered canon or whatever. And from what I hear, they kind of, especially like with the games and stuff, they're a little bit more careful than like not planning out a whole trilogy, which again, it's not popular. I do like the sequel trilogy. I'm not gonna say it's better than the original Star Wars films. I will say I enjoyed it better than the prequels, and I don't dislike the prequels, by the way. I do like the prequels, but I enjoy the sequel trilogy more than the prequels. But anyway, it's interesting to me to see how they're trying to basically, I guess, build up to the sequel trilogy, and I guess it adds more substance to what might seem random, but this is really early. This is pretty much right after Return of the Jedi. Actually, the Battlefront 2 single player missions actually tell you a little bit more of how the sequel trilogy universe developed a little bit. So, yeah, this game's cool. It's not going to be like the X-Wing or TIE Fighter games where you have to, like, I think there was, like, X-Wing Alliance 2. I played X-Wing, which I remember even less about, and then I believe there was an X-Wing Alliance game, which I played a little bit on my computer. I'm thinking it's, like, the newer version of Elite Dangerous, which that game needed a manual so bad. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure I bought it new, but I don't remember having a manual, because if I had a manual, I feel like it'd be sitting in my lap, because like in that game, when you plot, like, I forgot what they call it, the equivalent of light speed, like you kind of had to guess where like the fuel to power your light speed or recharge it was. This is very vague and blurry in my memory, but I think you had to go near like suns or something to like recharge your light speed or hyper. I forgot what it is. I was about to say like recharge your hyperdrive or whatever to go to light speed. I'm trying to think what Star Trek's version is. I'm like getting all mixed up because I know an audience is watching, so I'm overthinking everything. By the way, I took out all the loading times and everything. I am currently playing online. This is the third time that I've played online, so I am really bad. I still am really bad, but I'm happy that I'm getting to the point that my name isn't on the bottom of the list. But a lot of people that play this online probably play this game all the time and know what to do. I am surprised when I did pick, what is it, instant action or whatever. Quick match is what I picked. I'm surprised it's going to just straight up dog fighting, because there's like another mode. I might be mixing Battlefront 2 with this, like Capital Supremacy or something like that, where you have to shoot down the enemies and then go against like a capital ship and all that stuff. Like, I'm surprised that isn't the most popular mode, because I know when I try to go to like quick match and like Battlefront 2 or Battlefield like 5, it seems like when you pick quick match, it goes to the more complicated modes versus like team deathmatch and stuff like that. So I'm surprised this goes to dogfighting. I am happy. EA's been doing crossplay recently, which is kind of cool, because I thought that was something that Sony didn't really support, but EA apparently has been getting permission, so you're getting Xbox players and PC players. And what's cool is, since this is a flight game, there's no real like advantage that one person has. Like, you could say, they might be using a flight stick on PC. Well, they added flight stick compatibility to every single console, so if that's something that you're interested in, you can use it. Personally, I don't see how it would give you more of an advantage than a controller. I mean, a flight stick's cool for maybe the throttle and stuff like that, where you can like hold it in place, but it works fairly well. The only thing, the controller is kind of like, if you're heavy-handed like me, sometimes the controller is stressful, because like right there I blew up, because sometimes if I push the stick in too hard, like that activates another button, and that button happens to be boost, so I end up like ramming into like a wall or another spaceship or something if I'm pushing in the analog sticks too hard. But it's not like when you play single player, or I'm sure you wouldn't be expecting in multiplayer, you don't have to plot anything, you don't have to like be able to ask permission for clearance and stuff like that, like you would. Like, I might be confusing like Wing Commander, on one of the Wing Commander games that was more sim heavy. It might have been on PC. I'm like, our X-Wing, our Elite Dangerous, I'm getting them all like mixed up in my head. Like, you don't have to put out flight paths, you don't have to ask for clearance or anything super sim like. It's just more power management, which they kind of got from the X-Wing series, which I actually played when I was a kid. Like, I'm 36 years old as of recording this. When I played X-Wing, I think I was maybe 9 or 10. And it was at this kid's house that I was friends with, and he had a computer. Obviously it was his dad's, but you know, I guess he wanted his kid to feel important, so it's like, it's the family's computer, even though all the games were probably his. I remember we would play first person shooters with a flight stick. Worst way to control a first person shooter, in my opinion. It was the worst. But it was really cool, because I think I had a Sega Genesis at the time, so like seeing 3D like first person shooters in fairly high resolution at the time was pretty impressive. But I remember they had Star Wars, Dark Forces, Rebel Assault, and X-Wing, and I was really curious about X-Wing, but his dad, I think he was just looking for an excuse to play the game, because I wanted to play the game, and he wanted to control all the subsystems or whatever. I think he thought maybe I was too dumb, but I think he seriously just wanted an excuse to be part of playing the game. Maybe his wife yelled at him or something for playing video games too much. I don't know, but it was really cool. I got to at least steer the ship and shoot, so there was that. And then later on, I played X-Wing Alliance, which looked a little bit better, but it was the same basic thing. I don't think I got to play it. I think I tried to play that one with the controller, which was a nightmare. And then I got into flight simulation games way after. I don't even know where my flight stick is now. I don't even know if it would work on the PlayStation 4. If I could find it, it'd be cool if I could get this to work. I don't know how long this game is going to be supported. I really hope it gets more love. Apparently not a lot of people are buying this game, and I think it's absolutely awesome. Even if you play it for the single player campaign, the multiplayer is fun though, and the matches are fairly quick. I don't know about the main capital supremacy mode, but I do like the fact that you're playing with PC players, PlayStation players, and Xbox players. So that gives you more opportunities to get connected with the match, whereas like Battlefield and Battlefront on PlayStation 4, which isn't cross-platform, sometimes it's difficult to play like a specific mode that you want to play, and you have to kind of pick the popular modes because there's not as many people playing online. So that's cool. As you notice, the TIE Fighter here, it doesn't have shields. It just has like the throttle and the firepower to kind of keep track of, which, since you don't have shields, if you're going against the X-Wing, it's kind of like suicide, especially if they see you. I'm making the mistake of shooting first and then waiting for my missile to like lock on and then be able to shoot that. I don't know why that sounded oddly like innuendo-ish, but I apologize if you got that vibe too. But what is it like? I was gonna say like photon torpedoes. I think that's Star Trek. I don't know. Pretty sure that's Star Trek. God, I don't even feel I don't even watch Star Trek that much, but all of a sudden all the Star Trek lingo is like stuck in my head. Now I'm trying to think of the Star Wars lingo, which is why there was that awkward pause there. I'm sure this game is going to get increasingly cheaper if you can't play it online by the time that it's released. Hopefully it'll find its fan base. If you like Star Wars and enjoy the spaceships, this is a must-have, especially if you have a VR headset. This is one of the few like full-fledged games out there that has a decent length campaign and online play. It's like a full featured game, and you can play it all the way through VR, through the cutscenes and everything. I would definitely check it out if you have VR, or if you just like Star Wars or want a flight sim game. But I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and watching the video. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.